Hi, my name is Olivia, and I am here to tell you my story of how I went from no money, from a small town in Poland, to studying at one of the best unis in the world and working eventually at a Fortune 500 company in yet another country. I come from a small town in Western Poland, and I grew up in a working class family home, in a multi generational home with my grandparents, my mum, my brother, and my uncle, well, and me. My parents had my brother when they were 18 and me when they were 20, so that's kind of how life started for us. To give you an example, growing up, we didn't really have much. We couldn't really afford to go on nice holidays. We didn't go to restaurants, and also we didn't even have cable TV or laptop or nothing like that, which really affected me in ways when growing up. But from the very young age already, I started enjoying studying. I liked achieving things at school, and soon I also started exceeding my class at school. So after being given a few psychological tests, I was given a recommendation to study math in an individual curriculum. And that was because I was going a bit faster than my peers in my class. So I started those individual lessons, and also soon I got into the best high school in my province in Poland, where around 30% of my classmates, they were winners of national or regional competitions, and most of them also came from well-off families. So that really made me feel like I stand out in this negative way. At least I felt like it was making me stand out in a negative way, because also as an example, I was the only person, at least that's what I was told, to receive financial support from school and even to apply for one. So also I couldn't really do all the other things that my classmates were doing. They were going to private language classes, or had some private tutors, went on some language camps, but I never could do those things. I know I'm not the only person, but really in this environment, it felt to me like I am, let's say, exceptional in this negative sense. But soon, when I was 16, I heard from someone about the possibility of studying abroad. And that was really something strange to me, because I never really thought about studying abroad. It never occurred to me that there is an opportunity like that. It really seemed like something taken out of movies, because for me, it felt like it would even be an achievement to finish a good university degree in Poland, because me and my brother, we would be the first generation that went to university from my family. So both my parents and also my grandparents didn't go to university at all, and it was important that we did for my family. And my family didn't really have good financial literacy, and neither did I. So of course, when I came with this idea, everyone was shocked, panicked. They all said, "Nah, of course you're not going to do this. It's not for the likes of us." But I started researching, and I got really hooked on it very soon, especially on the US programs and the top universities that offer those full scholarships. So I really planned my whole life around the requirements of the top universities in the US, which meant I enrolled on hundreds of extracurriculars, such as theater, music, sports clubs, while still getting top marks. I worked part-time in summer at an ice cream place when I was 16 to save up to be able to take the English language certificate that was required at the university, and also to buy my books for SATs and for the application fees. Well, soon I realized I actually don't have enough time to prepare for SATs while still trying to pass my national exams. So I pivoted, and I decided what's the closest second choice, and I decided to apply to the UK. So I took my final exams. I was studying for it, and I was waiting for my results. And still, even at that moment, my family didn't think that I'm actually going to do this, because it felt so separated from the reality, right, that we lived in. But I received the results, and I got in. I was accepted to the University of Sheffield for Bachelor of Arts in Business Management. And then my family just panicked. They were saying, "No, you shouldn't do this, because they felt like I'm going to ruin my life. But I knew what I'm doing because I knew some people that had a lot of information. I found ways of financing it. I also knew that I'm going to work. So I knew it's going to happen. So beginning of summer, after my exam results, I moved to where my dad lived at the time in London, and I started working at a manufacturing plant to save up. So I worked throughout the summer there, and I was so proud of that, of earning money in the UK already, that I took my mum for a few days of holidays before going to university. It was crazy. It was such bad conditions, but for us it was amazing. We went to Spain, and I've never been to Spain, my mum neither. But I moved to university pretty soon after. I also sold my saxophone to be able to do that. I had the savings. I qualified for the maintenance loan from the UK government, and also I got the bursary from the university. So somehow I knew I have enough, and I had a very strong budgeting regime. So I think I allowed myself 50 to 60 pounds per week in day-to-day expenses such as food and going out, etc. But I wasn't really going out much because I felt like it's a waste of money. So I was studying hard, and soon I found out about this opportunity to actually change my degree to international business management, because the difference was that the second year of this 3-year degree would be spent at a partner business school abroad, which would be also triple accredited. So it was pretty great. And I applied for this, and I got into an even better university. I went to the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It was at the time around the 60th university in the world according to the rankings, and I did business economics there. It was pretty great. I also worked over the summer to save up. Where my dad lived at the time, I was staying with him, so that was in Cornwall in England. And I soon moved to the Netherlands, but my budget was very modest, so I had a really shitty apartment. My room had stains on walls from smoke. The bathroom was very moldy, and the kitchen had mice. And I lived with men that were around 20 years older than me. So I felt not that safe, but I had a blast anyway. I had an amazing experience, and I was in places where I never thought I would end up. Additionally to all those other sources of finance, I also had the Erasmus grant, and I also worked part-time at a restaurant while being in Amsterdam on the exchange. So you can imagine that other people on Erasmus, they were just having fun because they didn't have to get good grades. They were just there to enjoy the experience. But I was really focused on getting good grades and also on actually surviving it, because I didn't have that parental support, nothing of the sort. And even at some point I thought I'm not going to be able to pay for my rent because I didn't have the money yet from student finance, and I was on the verge of actually ending up on the streets, but in the end everything worked out, so that was fine. It cost me just a lot of stress, as you can imagine. So finishing my second year of uni, I went to Poland. I did an internship in Poland, and also I traveled a little bit, which was also something I never thought I would be able to do while studying. And I entered my third year of uni already having some sense of accomplishment, because I've already accomplished so much that I couldn't even imagine before. And I started working also as a senior student ambassador, which was very easy and gave me some extra source of income. I was really focused on getting the good grades because I wanted to end with a first-class honors degree. And suddenly there was an outbreak of the pandemic. Of course, there was the pandemic. So I moved back to Poland with my family. It felt like a failure at first. You can imagine. I had such a strong sense of achievement from being in the UK or in the Netherlands, and I had to move back and graduate from home. But on the other hand, it was an opportunity to feel at home again, to feel the comfort of not having to struggle constantly. It was a nice feeling, and I started to look for jobs, but in 2020 there was huge unemployment all over the Europe because all the companies were downsizing. So I got my first job in Warsaw in Poland in a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't even a full-time job. It was full-time, but it was an internship program in global marketing. So I moved to Warsaw and I started working there. I also enrolled at this small private university for a bachelor in computer science. My scholarship covered the full tuition fees, but it allowed me to have the student discount, so that was another way to save money. And at the same time, I created, together with my two friends, an NGO that had a purpose of equalizing access to education for kids in Poland. And that was really inspired by my own personal journey, because I always felt like, for me, accessing top education wasn't as easy as for my friends at university. And I always felt like I have to struggle a little bit more or work a little bit harder to get where my friends could get. So that was really interesting. The NGO, in the end, it didn't work out, but it was a journey and it helped me to learn from this. And also after 6 months, I stopped going to this university because I didn't need it anymore. And soon later, I got an opportunity to get a specialist role in the Netherlands within global marketing team. So I accepted it and I moved to Amsterdam for this job. I became also a writer for Kinder. And Kinder is a charitable startup that helps create transparency around donations for charities and for charitable actions. So I was writing this article about financial literacy in kids and how it can really impact social mobility. And that really gave me a lot more knowledge and awareness on the topic. And I realized that indeed kids from lower class families, they have lower chance on earning more in the future, just because they simply don't have the knowledge of how to manage their finances. They might not be aware of the opportunities as well, or simply they might be scared. So all of this really inspired me to fight for this and to also create this video right now, because I really feel like it cost me a lot of work, a lot of stress, to work my way through and really come to where I am. Because I think the quote that really stuck with me that I mentioned in this video is when I was told it's not for the likes of us, that the things that I'm achieving are not for the likes of us. I was really stubborn when I was a teenager, and I really set a goal for myself to overcome all of this and to achieve this, which I really thought would be impossible, you know. So I really hope that I could, through this video, that I could inspire others that have similar issues, that maybe are dreaming about some possibilities, that maybe are watching this American movie and are thinking, wow, this looks really cool, but it's impossible. Well, it's not. Many things are possible actually, and I think once you set a goal for yourself, just do lots and lots of research. Ask people that know more about it. Ask people that have done it, that can give you guidance. I think mentorship is so underrated still. We have to ask questions and admit if we don't know something, because that's only when we can actually start learning. This is in short my journey. It's not all the details out there, but at least I gave you a taster of what were the struggles, what were the successes, what was the path, and it really wasn't easy. But I'm here now, and you can be as well if only you want to. But yeah, that's it, and I hope to see you again. Have a great day. Bye.